Today I will be talking about the difference between hydroelectric power compared to oil. Hydroelectric power is a renewable form of energy that is used for around 24% of the world's energy today. The way it works is that water running through a dam turns turbines and powers generators, where the generators produce usable energy. These generators are essentially converting the potential energy of falling water into mechanical energy, which can be used to power our electric products. Turbines and hydroelectric generators work the same way as wind turbines, capturing the energy of the wind. When long blades spin, it spins a rotor, which is what which creates the electricity. Hydroelectric power has many benefits, including a way of generating renewable energy. It is a clean energy source and, once operational, a cost competitive energy source, and can help with the development of remote communities. Hydroelectric power is a fundamental vehicle for sustainable development, which is becoming mandatory within the coming years. This is not to say it doesn't produce its own problems, such as environmental damage, high upfront capital costs, potential conflict in natural water flow of an ecosystem, and could cause drought or even flooding in lower elevations in the event of a broken dam. The environmental impact of hydroelectric power is much less substantial than alternatives such as fossil fuels, but it can cause damage. For example, river flow in the same way for millions of years, and introducing a dam, which is required for hydroelectric power, where there had never been a blockage before, introduces its own set of problems, particularly the life that lives in the river system, including many fish species. Many salmon naturally migrate back to where they were born, and introducing a dam which cuts off their access to their spawning location or other species that migrate when food shortages they get cut off as well. Another demotivating factor for the government to create hydroelectric power is the initial cost. Although the running of the dam producing electricity is minimal, only 0.85 cents per kilowatt per hour, the upfront capital cost can be between 2.5 million and 5 million. The reasons for their high price is due to the logistics of the job. Stopping millions of gallons of water isn't easy, and therefore the price will not be ideal. With the upfront capital cost, a dam can typically go between 50 and 100 years before needing maintenance. Overall, hydroelectric power is the cleanest and least overall emissions, but requires a high upfront investment and could cause damage to natural life living in the river ecosystem. Now it's time for non-renewable energy. In general, oil is a liquid that is made up of organic molecules. However, our oil, in the context of the energy sector, is the liquid fossil fuel that is extracted from the ground. Around 1/3 of the world's primary energy comes from decomposed plants or animal remains. With oil being in the ground, the way we produce energy is fairly simple. Extract the oil from the ground using mining rigs, and then power generators to create electricity with that oil. The reason oil is able to produce energy is that the original energy source of oil is the sun, as the energy stored within dead organic matter is what creates oil over time. When burned, undergoes a process called hydrocarbon emission reaction, creating carbon dioxide and water vapor, as well as electricity, as well as many harmful chemicals to the environment. The energy released in the reaction has to do with how much energy is stored within a certain amount of oil. The reason oil is a primary energy source for the world is the cost of using it is cheap, and it offers high density energy and is very reliable. The reason it is being phased out is with renewable energy sources is that for that exact reason. We are running out of it because it is non-renewable. The predictions for how long we can sustain the amount of oil we are using are grim. Many predict between the years 2030 and 2050 our natural oil will be exhausted, and we will have the choice if we want to use, or we will not have a choice if we want to use renewable or non-renewable energy. As well as a limited supply, oil is extremely toxic to the environment and releases extremely high amounts of carbon dioxide and other harmful materials. The fact is that non-renewable also creates a problem between nations. We can see this in today's world where the Middle East suffers from a lot of corruption between nations leaders, because many of those nations sit on the world's biggest oil fields. Another way oil can damage the environment is when pipelines burst and oil spillage occurs, which can cause harm to the surrounding wildlife for years to come. With all of these harmful side effects, it is shocking that it can still be the primary energy provider in the world, but it all comes down to one reason: it is cost effective. 21.56 cents per kilowatt per hour may be higher than what dams produce, but it does not have the initial capital investment of millions of dollars that hydroelectric power does. Thank you.